Good morning, fearless soul rebels, rebelling against all that isn't of truth, of light, of love, of patience, of compassion, of willingness to change all our limitations and alchemize them into divine realizations. Fearless soul rebels, I bow. And let's all just close our eyes for a moment. And as we do, as we close our eyes, lift the gaze up and in to the point between the eyebrows to the spiritual eye point. Keep your eyes on the prize. Yogananda said, always keep your attention at the spiritual eye. He didn't mean that you walked around and you looked cross-eyed or had your eyes closed and whatever. Your attention, meaning that the way out of this cosmic delusion is through the spiritual eye, is through the light. And if thy eye be single, thy whole body will be filled with light. And what a time of a year to be filled with light when the days are short and the nights are long. When maybe the worries and fears and those blue Christmases are upon many of us, still in grieving, still in that discomfort, that dis-ease of not being connected to your true self. But whatever the case, this is the time of the year to look up and into that beautiful star in the east, star of wonder, star of light, star of royal beauty bright. Eastward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. I like to say that this is a star in the east, as it says in the Gita, at the spiritual eye point. So we're heading east, in and up. Relax your face, cheeks, and tongues. And let's call on that great Christ and Krishna consciousness to be with us right now, to lift our mood from being human, so that we're really excited in the calmest of ways, that we are divine through and through. And the gifts that are pouring in from the heavenly realms this time of year, of course, they always do, but they're so special. They're yours for the taking. Not physical gifts, not presents of the kind that are mostly given out this time of year, but presence. The infinite loving presence is being given away by that infinite giver, the Spirit divine. So just relax again. Let your heart feel that at any moment, this loving presence is going to steal into you. Watch, for you know not which hour your Lord doth come. Watch, be on the lookout for these cameo experiences, cameo appearances of the divine indweller making itself known to you in ways indescribable and so beautiful, because that's who you are. You are the reason for the season. Let's receive a big breath together. Hold it at the spiritual eye point. Relax your face and cheeks and tongue again. Release yourself through that spiritual eye and exhale into a shimmering, beautiful, dazzling, multicolored light. And inhale, bring your energy up the spine, relaxing again your face, cheeks, tongues, whole body, penetrating into the light, spiritual eye. And exhale, expanding in that beautiful, multicolored, evanescent, ever present, all beautiful light. And let's inhale again, bring everything we are up the spinal chakras to the spiritual eye, penetrate with all your will, with all your relaxation, with all your focus. into that realm of light, unspeakably beautiful. And then exhale, expand yourself into that light. Because this time of year, all is bright, all is light, all is peace, all is calm. And one more, everybody. Inhale, receive, let the world disappear from your consciousness and let the light appear. Dive into that light, penetrate the spiritual eye, expand in that light, and exhale, empty out. Let's do a few recharging of that. That other side of the cosmic light is the cosmic energy. So inhale, make a fist, squeeze your palms, squeeze the upper body, toes, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Exhale, release out the demons, release out the restlessness. Inhale, squeeze, tense with will, and exhale, relax and feel, and just let go. Just let the worldly pursuits and your thinking of the world go. Inhale. And exhale, let it all go again. All the thoughts, all the emotions that have you stirred up, tied up in knots. This is the time to completely untie the Gordian knot of your identification with delusion. Inhale, one more. Engage your will to love, squeeze, and relax and feel the gifts, the presence, the infinite presence pouring into your whole being, every cell drinking of the bliss nectar of your true nature and all that is. So much joy, so much to be thrilled about, to be completely still about, to be so silent about, to be so focused about. This time of year represents how we want to live the rest of our days. Completely focused on the one, Christ, the Krishna consciousness, and the one who they love the most, the Father of creation, Heavenly Father. I like to say Father Joy, Father Happiness, Father everything wonderful coming our way. And that's in all ways. We thank you, beloved Spirit, for being with us so profusely and profoundly right now. And so it is. So while you're in a soul state of mind, everybody, I want to just go over maybe a sentence or two from this chapter 8, verse 5 from last week. And this sums it up right here. This sums it up. I always like to sum it up. Begin with the end in mind, Begin with the end in mind, our complete oneness, bliss, ecstasy, and spirit. Knowing only the joy and love of his creator and her creator. Such a devotee without doubt attains freedom and merges with the divine being, without doubt. Knowing only the joy and love of your creator, of the Father of us all, the Mother of us all. Doesn't this time of year bring that coziness, that snuggle, that bear hibernating, and just going still and replenishing with everything it needs to survive the winter, these cold days, these frigid times of our heart, when we forget that love is the thing that's in there, not this upset, not this emotional turmoil, not world news, nothing of this physical body, nothing, or what our mind is thinking, nothing like that. That the news is that we are infinite, that we are one in spirit right now with that infinite. So such a devotee who knows only love and joy of her and his creator needs no further incarnations on earth for the satisfaction of unfulfilled desires, for she and he has rendered them all non-existent. A bauble? A cheap thrill? Something that doesn't last? Is the thing that we still searching for? I don't think so. I think we've changed our loyalties, haven't we? We have changed from wanting something from somebody else to something else, to knowing that everything that we already need and want is deep inside of us as a living, divine, loving presence. A self-disciplined yogi who has trained his mind to be detached at will from the sensory world and to unite. That's not enough to be detached. We must unite that emancipated mind. I love that, emancipated mind. Your emancipated mind, when it's on the divine, we want to unite that emancipated mind with the Lord and think of nothing but him. At the end of this day, that's what we can say, because here it says at the time of death, but now we are livers of a life in a day. We live only a life in a day, not a day in a life, but an entire life, meaning the sum total of everything that we are, and upping that dominant theme, that thread, that motive that we have at the culmination of this day. And that is how we want to be, in that ecstasy of having spent our time with our emancipated mind united with the divine, in the ecstasy of yoga or union with the divine. And today is the only day that we can focus on now, because this thing, when we talk about the time of death, every night when you turn within and go to sleep, it is a mini death. Every exhale breath is a mini death. We've talked a lot about this, but it's another thing, because the gift of gifts that's already in your stocking as a stocking stuffer, as a soul liberator, right, is this gift that you can keep your consciousness one with the divine now. That you never leave the loving presence, because the loving presence never leaves you. She, as Krishna says, he who perceives me everywhere and beholds everything in me never loses sight of me, nor do I ever lose sight of her. That's the gift you already possess, my dears. To put a big smile, a jolly old smile on your face right now. If you can't move your lips, then you got a problem. Smile, but it can be an inward smile, because of the joy that's awaiting you, and the love and the presence and the happiness and the freedom from all suffering, all illusions, all upsets, all the emotional turmoils that creates pure hell in the heart center, right? So it's disturbed. There's no peace, no love to be had in a heart that is emotionally involved with this outer world and believing the thoughts that you are thinking right now. According to the law of karma, that person has automatically created the cause that must manifest at the effect of God attainment. He who in life avoided all inharmony, harmony first, my dears, and who has accustomed to being absorbed in yoga ecstasy, my dears, in that oneness that we're describing, always try to find the right words to describe it, but they never come close. It's a feeling, it's a vibration that you can feel right now. And if it ain't coming from me, then it might be coming from source right directly into you. It's not a maybe. It's absolutely what's happening. Just feel the God vibe. Just feel it. Brooke, I read your hands, helping hands. You just beautiful work, my dear. I'm all in, support you any way I can. Folks, find out from Brooke what she's up to, from her life experiences. It's really, really inspiring, deeply moving, soul stirring, and totally, totally of the heart, and totally of God's gift into her. He who has avoided all inharmony and is accustomed to being absorbed in yoga ecstasy remains after death, or when we put in our head on the pillow tonight, in the same state of divine union. And then you program At the end of this day, when you reflect on the day and edit all the scenes where you just frumped out, or you weren't thinking of God, and you just install God and edit, you are an editor that can change what happened today, so that your whole day was filled with light. Your whole mind was filled with the divine. The whole motive of your heart was as pure as it's ever been in any given day, right? So that at what remains at the end of this day is that same state of divine union. And then you program it into your subconscious mind. Tell that mind when you go to sleep that you are going to pick up on the high note of today at first thing in the morning. Use that subconscious mind now to support you. You know how it works at night. If you tell your mind, I want to wake up at 4, bang, it works for you. Now use that subconscious mind instead of being a saboteur, of really bringing you down once you just had a little breakthrough and all that stuff, that it becomes your greatest helper, that it works for you while you sleep, that it's ready to just fulfill that super conscious vibe you put into it and told it how to be. And how you want to be is in the higher state. The highest point of today is the beginning point of in the morning. And your soul will greet you, and you will know it's your soul greeting you. And there you go. And that's how we live life as soul rebels. I started by saying good morning to you, fearless soul rebels. And you are fearless when it comes to completely abandoning yourself to your true self, not just codependently on God, but complete dependence on God. Such a yogi throughout life sees her physical form as a dream of God when the atoms of that body dream are dispersed at the end of each day. But in here it says by death, because we're kind of using death, but we're now knowing that death means one thing to us: today. Today. More time with the divine. Today. Keeping your eyes on the prize, on the divine light today, because this is the way we return home, through penetrating the spiritual eye. This is why this lesson today and this time of year and the lessons coming up, perfect divine timing for all of us. God has got such a surprise for each of you. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? So we know that our form as a dream of God, that the atoms of this body dream are dispersed by at the end of each day and goes into the infinite consciousness, and we're right there with it. Our soul is right there with it. It's dispersed by the end of the day, by death, and we wake up in the dreamless bliss. In the dreamless bliss. So that was the end of verse 5. And this verse 6 says this: O son of Kunti, Arjuna, that thought which a dying person leaves the body determines through the long persistence in it his and her next state of being. All right. This verse 6, chapter 8, it is your lucky everything today, my dears, for you being live on this broadcast. And good morning, Ryan, Bhavananda, Brooke. It's your luckiest day, because this is probably the most important thing that we need today. Not maybe, it is the most important thing in our soul's journey through lifetimes. This is the most important moment right here today, right now. So receive, just receive everything that you deserve. You're all deserving, all so worthy. You're a child of God. You know, you're all deserving, oh so worthy. You're a child of God. Here's Yogananda's commentary. This is page 720. God talks to Arjuna, chapter 8, book 2. The entirety, get a load of this first sentence if it's ready to set you off. Really launch you for starters this morning. Getting altitude, really get altitude fast, lift fast, right? First line, the entirety of a human life is a preparation for the final examination at death. The entirety of your human life is a preparation for the final examination at death. And that maybe will just go right in one ear and at the other if we don't apply it to today only, today only. The entirety of today, the purpose of today is a preparation for the final examination tonight. When we finish the day and we have a dominant theme in our mind of what happened today, whatever it is, we'll edit it if it's not the one that would really bring peace to our heart, and we'll change it. So there's, even if the whole day was dark for you, we can change it by bringing in the light. Healing's the application of love to the parts that hurt. We bring the light and we edit the scenes because we need a new dominant theme if our day didn't go so good today. Better yet, to make sure to be in the present moment today, right? To live as if this moment is the most precious one. And it could be brushing your teeth. It could be putting your shoes on or your snow boots or shoveling some snow, right? And praying for all the disasters happening around the world. Whatever. But today is the only day we have, my dears. And that's how we're going to look at this. And that's how we do look at this. So a person suddenly finding herself or himself at death's door, ready to go to sleep tonight, reviews in a flash. Now, you don't have to wait till you're on your bed and you're going to have a little meditation and you're dead tired. You're going to have, this is your evening meditation. This is your evening prime time with the divine, right? Whether it's before your dinner, highly recommended. Food in tummy makes it harder to meditate, especially after a long day. You get what I'm saying? So that one right when the sun's setting is a beautiful time of the evening to be right here. That you are going to have a little examination of your day and suddenly find yourself reviewing in a flash. Now, he's talking about a death, but we're talking about a day, but it's the same thing. You get me, right? You get me. Everyone clear on that? A person suddenly finding herself at death's door reviews in a flash the thoughts and desires and habits of her entire life. We review in a flash tonight the thoughts and desires and habits of our entire day. Kids, are you hearing this today? Are you feeling this today? Are you just saying to yourself, done? It's not like, you're going to forget that even what I said in this dream, not I, but what Spirit was giving to us as gifts, soul gifts of awakening this morning. But you can go through, and this today represents your entire life. She or he is quickly invaded by one overwhelming feeling or desire. You'll probably be overwhelmed by the end of this day when you review today. Can you imagine the difference between, making your nighttime so rare and sacred and special versus sitting down and watching TV? I love TV. I like to watch some sports at night and this and that. But I'm just saying, there's a huge difference between preparing tonight for an examination and passing examination and doing whatever it takes to have a new dominant theme of what happened today that puts you right in the driver's seat, man, to jettison home. You're going to penetrate into the light and have an experience of the truth and your union with the beloved like never before. It's a big difference. It's quickly, once we start this exam tonight, we're quickly invaded by one overwhelming feeling or desire whose nature will be in accordance with the character of our life today. What was the recurring theme of today? The feelings recurring, the dominant thoughts that we kept, the prolonged persistence in a thought today will determine tomorrow. In this passage, it says that will determine your next state of being if this happens to be truly our last day. All right, the dominant thought. So we're in a process now of taking a step back, a little soul witnessing from the seat of our soul, so we don't get overwhelmed by, wow, man, this was not an easy day for me. Again, thinking of our little self, right? God didn't just say instead, God didn't have an easy day at it today. I mean, why are you taking all the burden, man? I had a bad day. It was my fault, right? No, God is doing this through you. You're on a stage, man. You're acting. Maybe it's not a good energy day. You saw that from the Jesus calling of just not long ago. That okay. I have some things coming up in these next weeks, kids. So stay with me. Come to me with your gaping emptiness. So here's a bad hair day, okay? And here's the boon, the gift in a bad hair day. Come to me with your gaping emptiness, knowing that in me you are complete. As you rest quietly in my presence, my light within you grows brighter and brighter. Facing the emptiness inside you is simply the prelude to being filled with my fullness. Therefore, rejoice on those days when you drag yourself out of bed feeling sluggish and inadequate. Tell yourself that this is a perfect day to depend on me in childlike trust. If you persevere in this dependence as you go through this day, you will discover at bedtime that joy and peace have become your companions. This is a bad hair day. And joy and peace can be had at the end of the day. You see what I'm saying? They'll become your companions. You may not realize at what point they joined you on your journey today, but you will feel the beneficial effects of their presence. The perfect end to such a day is that doxology of gratitude. I am he from whom all blessings flow. Woo! So let me just read these first two sentences. Power pack, right? An entirety of a human life / day is a preparation for the final examination at death / night. A man or woman suddenly finding herself at death's door at bedtime, the end of the day, reviews in a flash the thoughts and desires and habits of her entire life. She or he is quickly invaded by one overwhelming feeling or desire whose nature will be in accordance with the character of her life, of today. She may feel predominantly guilty for her actions, or predominantly happy because of her good deeds, or predominantly worldly because of her material or his material activities. So the key word here is predominantly. Check it out. Just work today. Just live a life in a day today. All right. And see if you can, get on the front side and proactive side of this and know you're going to have some great moments today with God because you decide so. And if you make up your mind to do that, nothing can change it. Nothing can change it. All hell break loose. Nothing can change it. All right. So you'll have that on your side. But whatever you do come up with, know that you are seeking out and can edit and change whatever is the dominant theme, predominant theme you come up with initially. You can change it and increase it. That's why the nighttime, the after the work time, is the most important time of the day, just like the end of the life is the most important part of our life, my dears, because we can edit everything. We can make strides unbelievable. All right. So just hold on to just this idea that we can, at the end of the day, find out what is the predominant theme, predominant quality that we possess that day. And if it's good, increase it. And then program the subconscious with that quality, that high point. So the next morning, your subconsciousness is going to have you start right at that high point. That's what Emerson said. Begin the high point No, it was the yoga guy that wrote the Light of Yoga. Uh, I forget his name, but he's a big hatha yogi. He said, take the high point of today's yoga and start with it tomorrow. The high point. All right. So you may feel predominantly guilty for evil actions, predominantly happy because of good, or predominantly worldly because of material duties. Whatever is your feeling, it is the determining cause that will lead you to a particular part of the astral worlds or your dream world tonight, and then to another suitable incarnation on earth. In other words, whatever is that feeling, that predominant feeling, if you just leave it alone and you're not even aware of it, you didn't do anything to alchemize the end of your day, because it's the most important, and get ready for a program to your subconscious so that tomorrow you're starting on a high note rather than on a sub note, right? Inharmonious note. It will lead you to a particular part of that new day, or in the astral worlds at death, and another suitable incarnation on earth. It determines all of that. For as he thinketh in his heart, so he is a proverb. Okay, let's continue. Are you with me? Do you feel hopeful and happy? I could bring my doodles in there. You'll feel hope and happy, all right? The paramount habit of thought, Yogananda goes on to say, and feeling during a man's years on earth. The paramount habit of thought and feeling during a day is thus the most important factor on the day of judgment. If this was at death, that dominant theme, that paramount habit of thought and feeling during a man's years on earth or a daytime, is thus the most important factor on the day of judgment. Or in this case, it is the night of judgment. If we're doing this kind of really rare and very powerful and often goes unthought of self-introspection at the end of the day, it's a night of judgment. It's a night after one day. It's the night of judgment. The final thought. So this final thought that you come up with tonight about your life, about your purpose, about keeping your eyes on the prize, about the only reason for the season, for the whole thing. The final thought, inexorably produced by the tenor of the day, but in this case, it says lifetime, by the tenor, by the tone of a lifetime or a day, is indeed the karmic judge that at the sound of Gabriel's trumpet announces, you ready? You listening? Announces a man or woman's next destination. You get this as the beginning of your transition at that moment of so-called physical life and transition, at so-called death. You get all this review, you get the major thought, you get the tenor, the tone of that, and at Gabriel's trumpet, you get a real good idea of what your next incarnation, your next destination is going to look like. That's the next destination, is the word he uses, not incarnation, not yet. But the next destination in the inner worlds, and the next destination of how you are going to deal with this 3D HD heavy delusion world if you do wake up in the morning and you have another day here. You're going to know exactly how to deal with that day, because it's going to become clear to you by Gabriel's trumpet, by your introspection the night before. All right? But if you want to just keep this to the death thing and not think about how important today is and how important a nighttime is, and to set up and to work your subconscious, don't leave your subconscious up for grabs, man. You got to program it with the highest note, the highest tenor, the highest effort you made the night before you go to sleep. All right. Gabriel's trumpet is the sound of the cosmic Om that ushers the cosmic Om, Mother, Holy Mother, Holy Spirit, the Holy Comforter. The Gabriel's trumpet is the sound of the cosmic Om that ushers man from the physical body at death. So if you want a really good go at this, just chant Om to start your little process of reviewing the day, right? Editing where you can, creating just a purest heart and just a sweet connection with the divine for this little evening meditation, right? Start with Oms. Have Oms in between and in with Oms, because the Om is also how you are going to penetrate the spiritual eye, because we're heading to real complete dedication to the spiritual eye. Because Yogananda says, coming up in a page or two, it is through the opening in the spiritual eye that the astral vehicle of man and woman emerges from the physical body at death. So pretty key, death of the physical body is that you're ushered by the Om. So if you want to transition from being more detached from your physical body and, learning how to shut off at will the sense telephones from being body identified and mind thinking identified, I think the Om has a pretty big part to play. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you all say? Wouldn't you all say? Click, click, click. Is it all clicking? Huh? God's gift to you this holy season. God ain't messing around on this one. And yet he's a jolly old fella, or jolly ever new fella, ever new joy fella, right? Not even a fella. An infinite bliss, happiness beyond Satchidananda, right? Ever increasing, ever new, ever existing joy. All right, so that's Gabriel's trumpet. The Om vibration, being the repository of all creative blueprints, presents to each man and woman at the time of death the self-created pattern of her and his next existence. So the Om is going to give you the vibration, being the repository of all creative blueprints. Tune in with Om if you want a new day. Tune in with Om if you want to change a habit. Tune in with Om if you want a little boost and a uplift to get you away from taking this outer life so seriously, right? The Om is everything in this material creation. And guess what? We're living in a material creation right now, just temporarily. And by the way, it's a dream. And by the way, there's nothing real here. It's unreal. So you don't have to give it the time of day, right? You can give God your everything now. How cool is that? And every breath and every moment can be a union in the ecstasy, the yoga ecstasy, the divine union of your everything that you are, which is God himself. So it's this guy, God is doing God here, right? God is entertaining himself here in all of these little aspects of him called immortal souls. He loves to see his little immortal souls return home. And he's so sad when we decided, no, it's not time yet. We still need to be more miserable. So the Om vibration, being the repository of all creative blueprints, presents to each person at the time of death a self-created pattern of our next existence. A human being leading a meaningless, this is important to hear. A human being leading a meaningless, mechanical existence or an evil life little realizes that on that last day, on that last day, he or she will bring judgment upon herself with a Gabriel's trumpet of karma proclaiming his fate. You're the one. It's a night of judgment, but you get to judge, right? And you want your soul to judge. You don't want to have anything to do with it as a human. You don't want to have anything to do with it as a mind that's been just you know, riddled with false notions and irrational ideas, right? You want your soul to be the one that judges, doesn't judge, it's just compassionate love and forgiveness. That's what the soul is going to say to you, right? Doesn't ever see anything wrong with you, ever, never. If a person is tired of material life or evil habits, so if you're tired at the end of the day, if you're tired with some of the things you did that day, if it seems like there's very little improvement in the quality of your consciousness each day, why should you continue in that way the next day? Yogananda says here, why would you continue in that way to the end of life, only to be required to go on with the same kind of obnoxious living after death? Don't forget this little interim thing, where you're going to be spending some retirement time in the inner worlds. It doesn't make sense that if we're not feeling so good at the end of today, that we don't do something radically about it, because tomorrow is going to be worse. We don't take care of shop today, tomorrow is going to be harder. We let a habit go today and get, say on New Year's Day, I'm going to do better. I'm going to watch my diet then. It's going to be harder. So why would you need to go through the same kind of obnoxious living in the next destination and in your next life, when it can be the opposite? It could be the best day of your life, the best setup for your subconscious mind at the end of today, and a whole new bright start tomorrow. And you start over, just a life in a day, a life in a day. Each man or woman should endeavor to lead a righteous life. That is, at its termination, he will not or she will not have a guilty conscience and be reborn among evildoers. Just saying. Just saying. It's another holiday, holy day, Christmas, my dears. Like that's going to be New Year's Day. Boom, before you have a chance to even reflect at all, off you go again. Completely, almost like, Lord, yeah, I know you're important and I feel like you are important, but it's not important yet enough, I guess, to make a radical shift today and to put this into practice today. It's always been today, but we have a new incentive today, I think, right? We're being blessed with everything we need. All we got to do is just do it. Just do it. By practice of non-attachment, the yogi dissolves all the inclinations and desires of her heart and remains in continuous ecstasy with the Om vibration. Oh, it's so hard to be detached from this and detached from that. Well, what's harder is to leave it that way and to say those things. But it's quite easy if you decide that the three things, and they are going to come up here in the next verse. There's going to be three things that we're going to look at in depth, which qualify you as a yogi passing from physical body into the divine essence, that you will pass from this day into your dream state at night and to tomorrow. It's the same thing. There's three qualifications that you have to qualify for first. And this is going to be coming up in a verse or two, but I'm going to give you a little something to chew on over these holidays. First thing, love of God. That's how I started this stream this morning, right? It's only the love and the joy of your Creator will guarantee how your next transition, your next destination, be off the charts. You'll be very happy about it, right? First qualification, first requirement, love of God. Second, mastery of the kingly science, Kriya Yoga, by which we can usher our consciousness into the infinite through the agency of the single eye in the forehead. You're going to see how near-death experiencers have put a perfect formula down for us, and we'll get to that in a week or two, about how we can practice this transition. And if you think, well, how am I going to perfect Kriya Yoga? And that might have just stopped, your excitement. Don't worry about it. Your love is greater than your practice of Kriya Yoga. And if you love great enough, your Kriya is going to do the magic for you. And you'll be able to bring your whole self into that spiritual eye and penetrate that spiritual eye into the dazzling, brilliant, beautiful, multicolored divine light in the inner worlds, right? For starters. So that's the second thing, penetrating the spiritual eye. So now I'm saying, keep your eyes on the prize. Now I'm saying with every inhale breath that you can bring yourself up and just give yourself into that beautiful light, just that loving light, right? And be wise enough to make those choices today. And if there was a song for you for this Christmas season, it's one of the carols, We Three Kings. We three kings. We three queens. We three souls. Right? Bearing gifts, we travel afar. How does it go? But here's the part that I love, and we're going to be using this one for a few weeks now. Okay. So, well, is the lyrics, as you know. We three kings of Orient are bearing gifts. We traverse afar every day from our root chakra to our spiritual eye point. Field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. All the way up the chakras. You're going to see how this works in near-death experiences and how this is going to be our process, right? This is what we're focusing on from here on out. Trust me. Trust me. And then that beautiful chorus, right? Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright. I'm changing westward leading to eastward leading because this is the spiritual eye, star in the east. And we're going to get all this reviewed coming up. So don't worry about a thing. Just let it in. Just let it in, man. This is your day. This is your stream. This is your life. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, eastward leading, still proceeding, guide us to that perfect light. Spiritual eye. That's what I think those wise men were. Their wise inspiration. By wise inspiration, follow the starry gate. Thy body will be to see the Christ born in your soul anew. This is the opal flame. Here's another suggestion for you for these holidays, because I ain't letting you guys off for the holidays without giving you some real prime nourishment, prime inspiration, prime possibilities for you, right? Prime time. This is prime time. And so opal flame, OPAL, opal flame, chant by Yogananda. Google it. If it was like me, you're going to get the first one comes up and it's the lyrics and a beautiful kirtan version of that. All right. But I want those lyrics that you look at those lyrics. And if you get the kirtan part too, do it because it describes perfectly well. Why don't I tell you what those lyrics are so you're not kind of even guessing or thinking that this is too much, right? Opal flame. If thou wilt see opal flame, drive darkness evermore. If thou wilt see opal flame, just imagine, because this is the time for intuitive imagination. This is the time that you are a spiritual adventurer. This is the time where you just are fearless in just stretching your imagination. This is the intuitive imagination, not your human imagination, beyond the scope of your stretchingness, right? This is the season. This is the day, right? If thou wilt see opal flame, drive darkness evermore. searing thy silence with the sword of pranayam, searing thy silence with the sword of pranayam. Through the star in opal I see the Christ everywhere. Through the star in opal I see the Christ everywhere, sleeping in every atom, in protons, electrons, sleeping in every atom, in protons, electrons. Golden misty aureole adorns this opal door. Golden misty aureole adorns this opal door. Through the star in the blue, meet the Christ everywhere. Look at where we are focusing now. Look where we're heading, to the star in the east. We are the wise men and the wise women following our inspiration. You'll get that line coming up. That's why I'm singing it to you this right now. Starry dove with wings of rays, lights on forehead. Starry dove with wings of rays, lights on forehead, showing you the throne of Christ in the peace of every heart. Showing you the throne of Christ in the peace of every heart. Get these words today and start having by your altar, so every meditation, for sure, this holy season into the new year, you're going to get this thing just on into your heart. All right. Will you do that? This is what we do now, right? We got to follow up. We got to follow through more than just hearing what Gita stream and moving on with being pulled out. No matter what you say and any reasoning you're going to put to that. All right. By wise inspiration, you wise queens and kings of Orient are, right? By wise inspiration, follow the starry eye. Follow this star in the east. To see the Christ born in thy soul anew. So by wise inspiration, follow the starry eye. To see the Christ born in thy soul anew. You want to see the Christ born? You want to see a new day born? Do you want to see a new happiness, a new glow, a new joy, a new faith, a new hope born? This is it. Follow the star. Bring yourself up on the inhale. Pour yourself into this beautiful light. Just love it. Just love what you're doing. All right? Just love what you're doing. Just love it. Just love it. Because this is the only way, this is the way you're going to leave the physical body. That energy is going to move up and go through the spiritual eye point. And this is what we want to do each night. We want to go through, experience the truth, and then set that as a new high mark for our subconscious mind. Pretty soon it's going to be your greatest friend, and it's going to inspire you. And then you'll have three minds all in tune: the subconscious, the conscious, and the superconscious mind. All right. Shining, opening in all of matter, O star, I peep through thee into the land of astral light that kindles life in everything. All right. So you go up there and find that opal flame, get it with the kirtan. I heard it was great. The guy sang it twice. I loved his voice, the whole thing. Got it right there. All right. You guys are shored up now, right? These are your Christmas stocking stuffers, right? This is stuffing your heart, filling your heart with such exuberation and enthusiasm, right? Whoo! For a whole new day. So each man, at the end of where we were in our commentary, each person, man, woman, should endeavor to lead a righteous life that at its termination will not have a guilty conscience and reborn among evildoers. By practice of non-attachment, the yogi dissolves all her and his inclinations and desires of her heart, remains in continuous ecstasy. How can you not be in a continuous ecstasy when you already are? When you've never been out from it? Never, ever. In that oneness with spirit. So continuous ecstasy, it's already happening. You're the last of the holdouts, man. You're the last of the Mohegans. You're the last one to decide that this is what you want, really want. Oh, oh, don't mess with that one. Search your heart, search your soul. And when you find God there, you'll search no more. When you find yourself there as the big S, you'll search no more. But this is the season for it, okay? Today is the day for that. Remain in continuous ecstasy with the Om vibration, the expression of God in creation. When death arrives, the yogi finds Gabriel's trumpet. When the end of the day arrives, you're going to be hearing the trumpet issuing from the cosmic Om, along with the Om, the music of the spheres, ushering you into the transcendental spheres of God. Larry Mahashai went through this Om into the infinite and resurrected himself in a physical body one day after that of his death. Whew! Those devotees, we're actually going to we're going to finish this verse here. This verse 6. Just as starters for the new day, the new consciousness in you and me. How's that? Those devotees are liberated who can manifest the Christ or Kutashya consciousness by emerging through the cosmic Om from all three useless dead bodies. You have three bodies, the physical, astral, and causal, all dead. Because you're not a body. You're a formless, infinite being, all right? One with the infinite, unmanifested, spirit bliss, ongoing, ever new, Satchidananda. The first experience of omnipresence of the liberated being through which he cometh unto the Father consciousness, cosmic consciousness. So you have three useless bodies because you finally you're beyond the creation now. You're with the Father of creation. There's no more going out into creation. So you no longer need a body because that's all part of this physical, the Om vibration and Divine Mother putting her stoppers, that stuff that makes the engine only go so fast, right? To stall you out and get you caught up in this madhouse, right? Even that's the same thing. It's an Om. But the Om on the bright side of things is the one that is Divine Mother herself, just holding you and never letting you out of her sight and protecting you and making sure this is a happening for you. Okay. Right now, right here and now is a happening for you. In this state, the emancipated being knows divine thought to be the matrix of creation. Divine thought is the matrix of creation. Divine thought. God's thoughts, not your thoughts. I like to say free choice becomes the matrix of human life. You want to know what the matrix is? Just like divine thought is the matrix of creation, your free choice to choose what we're talking about today, to make this a reality for yourself today, right? That you go for it today, all right? Then your free choice to do so becomes the matrix of an amazing day. You won't need to do much editing at the end of this day. You'll be in that ecstasy with your beloved today. Your mind won't leave the divine, okay, today, because this is the gift that God poured into you as we started the stream this morning. And it's here with you now. It's just up to you to receive it fully and completely and say, Lord, I'm in. In this state, the emancipated being knows divine thought to be the matrix of creation. He and she too is now able to materialize thought into the shape of her former body or into the shape of any other body in which she may wish to appear, or by choice, she may remain merged in the formless absolute in the bliss of the transcendental spirit. That ends verse 6. Maybe we'll have just a few moments just to breathe and be in each other's soul company, right? Because verse 7 is about don't get emotionally involved here. And verse 8 is really about penetrating the divine light with the spiritual eye. So that's coming up. This is all for the new year, the new day, the new life, and a life in a day. Now it's doable, right? Now it's more accessible, right? So let's just close our eyes for a moment and Send so much love and light to each other. Come on here live every time. Few of you see the video afterwards, but OMG, fearless soul rebels. And just send so much light into each of you. Forget yourself for a moment and wish that all this happens yesterday for each of these beautiful souls that are here on the live, that will listen later. And you can expand that out to all souls, quite frankly. The best Christmas ever. Christ. More Mas. Christmas. More Christ consciousness. More light. More Krishna love. More and more. Everything wonderful coming to each of us. Blessing after blessing. God's doing all of this for you. Is all of this. You are all Him. Let Him. Relax. Let go. Dream of Him night and day. Shogunon said, when I lay this soul to rest, I'll dream of Him who I love best. Then thou and I are one. Shall roam with the Om till we find our way home. I'll dream of Him who I love best. When it's time to lay my body down to sleep at night, I'll dream of Him who I love best. And I'll wake from dreams forevermore. Dreamless bliss, dreamless bliss. May God bless each of you and your family and your loved ones, your generations. And may God bless every soul on this planet with a taste of His joy and love and peace and hope and faith and freedom to whatever degree it's possible for them to receive. And so it is. We thank you that this is so, oh beloved. Oh, Shanti, Shanti. Amen. Peace be unto you. Light surround you, and the pure love within you guide your way home. Namaste, everybody.